Hello. Hello, everybody. Shall I be introducer today, Miss?
Yeah, be the introducer.
Okay, so hello, lovely people. Well, actually, forgot what I was going to say there. Welcome to the Sunday Sofa with me, Jane Morton, and
Me, Polly Harnett.
lovely. Yeah. We're not going to introduce ourselves and say what we do because we get fed up introducing ourselves and saying what we do. Unless there's anyone new and they want to know what we do, we'll tell you later. But no, because we go on and on about all the lovely things that we can do. And then it's like, oh, the show's over. So no. But no, so today we're going to say some hellos, and then we're going to talk about our topic, which follows on a little bit from our last topic, which we did 2 weeks ago now. Don't time fly by?
It certainly does.
We had quite a lot of interaction with people, and even after the show I noticed that lots more people were viewing it and commenting, so it was quite a controversial subject, wasn't it? And anyone new that's watching, we were talking about the NHS, not all bad, we were talking good and bad. We were talking about GPs, hospitals, people praising them, people not praising them, but it's a subject that's come up quite a bit, so we thought we'd talk about it. So today we are going to talk about hidden disabilities. One, because it's quite personal to me, and two, because that is also something that's been coming up around the NHS, but also in general because of how people's health have deteriorated.
Absolutely.
So shall we do some hellos?
I'd like to say hello to Tina Place.
Hello, lovely Tina. Hi, Dawny. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, Keith. How are you doing? Keith Bernard Abbott.
Hi, Keith. Hi, Amanda Wheatley. Sorry, just getting the nits at me, yeah.
Hi, please.
Hello, Terry. Oh, hello, lovely Tracy Dolphin. Can we send her some healing, Polly? She's not very well.
Hi, Valerie Corbett.
Hi, Jan. I'm not going to go Jan.
Why? You did. Hi, Angel Stars.
Oh, yeah. Come on, Mr. P.
Yeah. Done, Angel. Yeah. Oh, we haven't got many hellos. Anyway, guys, whoever is watching today, please do share us around. I know it's actually quite a pleasant day
That's why, isn't it? Because the sun's
lots
just
of
come
people are at spiritual fairs around Portsmouth area, or have been, because I popped to see one today and saw the lovely Sarah Andrews, I have to say, and she did her angel magic on me this morning. How exciting!
Did she?
Yeah.
Did she?
So anybody that is on today, please do share. Hi, Red Rose. Please do share us around. As we said last week, we were talking about the NHS. If you did miss that, okay, please do follow and subscribe to sptv, and then you can look back upon our amazing discussion. It was a good discussion. Lots of people with us.
Hi, Marie Taylor. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, Angel Stars. Just managed to tune in for a few minutes before I set off for rostrum duty this evening. Angel is Amy, so we've seen her and Amy before up here. Good luck, Amy.
I'm not being ignorant. What's rostrum duty?
Do you know it's spiritualist church?
Yeah.
So the rostrum is the bit that you stand upon to your philosophy, prayers, etc.
I am sorry. Apologies, Amy, but I don't go in the churches.
Oh, Margaret Kelly. Right. What we are doing, we are me and Jane and Sarah when she's here. When she's not at a spiritualist fair. Oh,
yeah.
Hi,
we'll let Sarah off. She's been here once and then she disappeared again.
Yeah, bless her. And this is a chat show. So being a chat show, we need you to be interacting, okay, with our topic today. Any comments that you have, any sort of comments, or it might be opinions, it could be absolutely anything, experiences that you have, please do interact. Now, this isn't the sort of show where you just ask for a card and we give it to you. It doesn't work like that. We have to make you work for your card. Right, so please do interact. You are more likely to get a card or some sort of reading if you interact with us today, so please do get active. Hi, Kerry Knights.
Yes. So that's what we want, don't we? We want questions. We want people chatting to us, because
what do we want?
Chat show.
Questions. What do we want? Where do we want them now? Hi, Jenny. Peace. Have you noticed if you don't say about your own pain, people think you are fine? Good start. What do you think, Jane?
Definitely, Keith.
Oh.
So, Keith, one of the reasons because we've started to prepare ourselves a bit more on the chat show, because it is a chat show, and it is, you know, we want to talk about controversial subjects. We want to talk about subjects not just spiritual, then throw in the readings. If you want just readings, you need to be on the other shows. But yeah, Keith, one of the reasons I picked this subject, and I did pick it, but the other ladies agreed with it, is because, one, I watched a programme the other day on hidden disabilities and was quite shocked myself at what still is going on in this day and age. And two, because I do suffer with hidden disabilities. Actually, so does Polly. In fact, if we all sat and thought about things that we have to deal with, we are all in some way got some form of disability. And people think it's because disability is you actually look like you're disabled. It's not. It's long-term chronic conditions that you have to cope with on a day-to-day basis. It's still a disability. It's not, you know, it's not because you've got to be missing limbs. You've literally have got other things going on. So pain is definitely one of them. Pain is one of the ones behind one of my long-term disabilities. I've had fibromyalgia now, I think 9 years I was diagnosed. So it is a pain thing. So it's literally unbearable at times, but it comes with lots of other things. And because people see me, and a prime example is I can be doing this show, the people think, well, she's all right. Well, I'm sat down. And Richard will tell you that I'm always, and as any Keith, you're a regular, I'm always losing me words and getting them tongue-tied, part of my disability, but I laugh it off. But people assume because you're looking all right, you're dressing yourself, you're sort of trying to make yourself look presentable, that you are perfectly all right, and you are either faking your illness, or you actually aren't, you know, your illness isn't as bad as it may seem. That said, I don't go on daily about my illness, but when I do moan, I actually get moaned back at because people think I'm going on.
Well,
how does that work?
But it is a really hard thing, because like people like you, I mean, if I hadn't have known you, because I've known you for a while now, I mean, you're always upbeat, you always say it how it is, you're always that sort of person. I don't think I've hardly ever heard you moan about your disability, hardly ever. Yeah, I know you have it, and I know other people that, let's say average Joe blogs, would look at them, and when they park in a disabled space, they're like looking at you waiting for like crutches or a wheelchair.
Yep.
And it doesn't work like that. I know that you can't walk that far. I know we've been out together in the evenings or to parties. I know that, you know, you probably want to dance, but, you know, your stamina for that probably would be 5 minutes, whereas might have used to have been 5 hours. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Or walking from one place to another. And unless you know somebody and know what they're going through and how they're suffering, I think it's very, very easy to judge. People judge very, very quickly, unfortunately.
Yeah, definitely.
And, you know, an illness isn't just physical either. If somebody has got absolutely horrendous anxiety to the point where it stops them going out, or it stops them functioning properly, or you know, they get into a real panic about things, that is like a disability, because it's not, they don't want to be anxious, you know, for whatever reason. Life could be a chemical imbalance in the brain. It could be that they're schizophrenic. It could be anything, but it does stop you doing things, doesn't it? Okay,
yeah,
you might not be disabled bay for that reason, but just because somebody's got puts a good face on it doesn't mean that they're not struggling every single day of their life. And
no, and this is why it frustrates me, Polly. I've just seen Christina Cabrera, I'm going to say, thing. She says she has fibromyalgia, and so many people think it's all in your mind, and it takes so much to crack on in bad days. And that's the bit that annoys me. When I got diagnosed, I'd been unwell for about 18 months, but I didn't know what it was. I was doing a full-time job, quite a demanding full-time job in academia. I was running a household. My husband at the time was working in London, so he never got in. He went early in the morning, come back late at night. So I was literally doing everything, and I had a small child. I honestly thought I was stressed at first. I thought it's got to be stress. Stress is getting the better of me. I thought I thrived on it, but maybe age was getting the better of me. But when I got diagnosed, I actually asked what it was because I didn't understand it, and I'd had every test going at this point. So I was, I think I tried everything out. And when they told me the list of things that comes with it, I sat there actually thinking, they've got to be joking, haven't they? And I even said, for my sins, is it in my head? Because I didn't understand it. And then I was sent to see a psychotherapist, because apparently I had to see a psychotherapist for the last notch on the diagnosis to say that I had it because of my mental well-being. And looking back now, that was quite insulting, because it is a physical condition, but it affects so many of your mental and cognitive areas. But it is physical. It starts physical. Yeah. And there are days that people don't see. I mean, my lovely Tracy Dolphin is an old school friend of mine. She will know there are days that I don't see people because they're the days that I am not functioning very well. So I keep to myself. And all through my career, in the time I've been diagnosed before I went self-employed, I have done everything in my power to avoid people seeing me on my worst days. Yeah. So I take leave, not sick, to go around it. Because I work at the hospital now, I can do shifts and go around it. No one physically see me. But if I had a night out, suddenly I was like the devil. People were looking at me thinking, what, she's out? She's dancing, she's drinking, she's laughing. There's nothing wrong with her. What they didn't see is the next day or the day after, I was physically drained and struggled to get out of bed or get out of my house or get out to do anything. And I made those life choices. I knew if I was going out, there was going to be a repercussion. I knew if I drank, because they tell us not to drink with fibromyalgia, as many conditions, there would be a repercussion because of how it affects your mind, how you affect your balance and stuff like that. I chose to do things and monitor it. So no one should be penalised when, like you said, anyone that doesn't know me sees me and thinks, she looks all right to me. But it's what really gets me is it was friends. It's friends. And actually, I don't know if Christina has suffered this herself. Friends are the ones that judge me the most. Not my good friends, not my really good friends, because I've learnt to separate the ones now. But friends were actually judging me and saying I was faking it. These are people you're meant to have known for a long time and cared about, and they think you're faking it because you put on, like you said earlier, a brave face. So if Christina lets me know how she struggles with that, because it's the mental side of this condition that really can get you down because of the way you're treated and what you're dealing with. And obviously, as you all know, I then broke my leg a couple of years ago, which massively then really affected my mobility. So I had a knock-on effect on top of the condition I was already trying to deal with.
Yeah.
So
we read
that? Jenny's, yeah.
Margaret Parsons. It's the same with mental health. I have anxiety and it can be hard. People can do things so easily and wonder why it's such a big thing for me to do. It's hard to explain to people who haven't gone through it. I totally get that, Jenny. I think probably me and Jane do. I mean, I've had a couple of times in my life when I suffered with some depression. I also suffered, and not even that long ago, went through a time of this, when I say ridiculous anxiety, it's almost because it felt like it came from nowhere. Did it come from nowhere? Probably not. It probably was like an accumulation, let's say, of things that had happened, personal things, probably, all to do with lockdowns, a bit of everything, I think, or just like landed on my head. I'd worked like a complete idiot. I hadn't rested. I was, I don't know, gone a bit loopy-loo, I think. Anyway, right, I know that I'm coming out the other side of it now. I know that only my absolute very best friends would have known about, and probably everybody else now around the world. But just now, at the time, I didn't want to talk about it because it sort of made it real for me. Not because I'm ashamed of it, not because I was, not because I was ashamed of that. I was probably frustrated myself, and I thought, you know, if I say that I'm really anxious, then everyone, how will they react? Will they react in the way where they start being over sympathetic, which I don't want? You know what I mean? Because if they're over sympathetic, I'll just cry. Or do I just sort of, you know, think like a bit like you said, one step at a time, like assess things as I go? It has actually been quite an interesting journey for me because I was just saying to Jane before we went on, I did paid for some intolerance tests, and I've knocked some foods sort of on the head, or certainly just cut down on them. And today, after not eating potatoes for probably 8 weeks, I ate some hash browns, and honestly, it was like my head was like completely loopy. All right, it almost felt a bit risky. I almost could have done anything, which was a bit weird after eating a potato. All right, and I know that since I ate those potatoes today, I've been a bit like woo, like this. So I know as well that my body's so sensitive, probably because I do spiritual stuff all the time, that it just can't handle things anymore. My body's only wanted me to eat really, really healthily. And then I keep getting told that I'm not eating enough. I'm skinny, but I'm not skinny. I'm actually certainly not hollow. If you pick me up, right? But
she likes her food, is what she means.
Anxiety is a crippling thing. It can be crippling.
It is a crippling thing. Actually, I've just pulled a card for her. I know, Richard, we will do that next one. You've just put up, but I've just pulled a card for her, and I got straight away why, which was weird because in Jenny's comment, she had the word why, and it was bang smack in the middle while I was reading it, and it was like coming out bang bang bang, and then I pulled why, but then out come the Knight of Pentacles as well, Jenny. What it told me straight away, I got a feeling around you that actually normally you're quite a grounded person. You're a person that thinks quite sensibly, a person that actually will look at the logic of things, and maybe sometimes looking at that is what can sometimes make that anxiety around you seem worse, because you're seeing everything in a very level way. I'm like that. So like Polly said, we all have our anxiety, whether people want to admit it or not. It's just how that extreme of anxiety can get out of control, and when you know that you may need additional help. But around you, I got that you try and keep yourself busy. I kept getting busy bees around you. It's the word that was thrown around in my head. So I feel like you try and keep yourself busy around you. It's the actual going out into that big wide world on those days that you know you're quite happy to be this side of the door, not opening it. But those busy bees, even though it's more of the metaphor, so to speak, I do feel you need to even get out, even if it's in your own surrounding, just to breathe in that fresh air a bit. The Y card was showing me some kind of book, and it sounds a bit bizarre. I feel like you've read some kind of self-help book recently, but the reason you were reading it is because I feel there's been a loss around you. I'm getting somebody around you, but it doesn't feel like it's a loss necessarily of someone that's passed. It's someone that's just gone, no longer around you. So I don't know if that's a relationship that's ended or somebody's ended, but I'm feeling that loss is gone, but not in a passing. Yes, that is what I'm like. Yeah. So Jenny, what I want to say to you is books are brilliant. I'm a great book reader when I've got time. And any self-help books are brilliant, but don't let your sensibleness, I'm going to call it, your groundedness, because that's what I'm feeling with you. I'm a very earthy person, but sometimes that is our worst enemy, because we need to let ourselves free a bit. We always tell people to stay grounded when you're working like this, but actually you need to sometimes let it go and just go with something, because it's much more open. Well, I don't know, what's the word, Polly, I'm looking for? It lifts you so much. It's almost like a bit like Polly when she had her hash browns today. She was on a high. But I just want to say, sometimes don't overthink situations and stay sensible. Do something a little bit daring, but in your comfort zone. But set yourself little tasks, I want to say to you, of doing something out of in your comfort zone, but something you wouldn't normally do, but something you feel safe with.
It's funny because I just picked a card for her as well there. See that? it's application. If you look at the picture, this lady is the tree is coming out of a book. It's like knowledge.
Yeah.
Said about book, didn't you? Now it's quite interesting because I do feel like there's an element of letting go for you as well, because similar to what Jane said, obviously
she has put that she's lost a friend who hasn't passed. So I've got that someone's gone that hasn't gone, but that's still a grief. That's still a form of bereavement.
But yeah, just it's almost like anyone that has sort of left your life, right? It's knowing that some people are there for a reason and some are there for a season, literally. Okay, they will have taught you something. Okay, and just know that I just feel with you like because your consciousness may be shifting. For example, you're seeing things in a slightly different way. There's almost this feeling like you feel like you need to hang on to things, but I'm not just talking about people, situations, jobs, like I said, anything. But this is saying, look, you're sort of growing out of a lot of things now, Jenny, and it's time to start sort of reading more, seeing more, experiencing more, and living in a slightly different way, almost a more simple way, like almost going back to basics, doing lots of walking, sort of bit of tree hugging, all that. I'm not even joking, right? You need to live a simpler life and stop letting other people take from you or take your energy as well. Okay.
Yeah. And Jenny, it's hard when you lose people in your life that have been there are suddenly not there for whatever reason. But Polly is right. There is a reason. They say that people come in our lives to give us sight, and sometimes they come back into our lives because we've still got stuff to learn. But when they've gone, we're moving on because we're moving on to a different time in our life, and we're moving on to different pastures, and it is for our good, and it may even be for their good, but there is a reason behind it, as sad as that is. So yeah, I know who comes and goes is for, so she knows that. So but yeah, and I do, maybe if you don't want to hug a tree, because not everyone wants to hug a tree, Polly, just sit under it. Let's sit under it and touch it from behind if you feel like it. Like some people just I'm not into tree. Touching it, like, just feeling it. Let's keep this clean. We're only 4 o'clock, people.
Glad I'm not in the same room as you. Right.
Well, you like to laugh at me. But right, so then Kerry, I think, put up something, didn't she, Richard? Richard, why can't? So Kerry Knight, I feel a little bit overwhelmed with things going on with things in my life at the minute. I've got lots going on with myself and people close to me. Feel I'm spreading myself a bit thin. Any advice you could give me would love, please. Oh, I know how she feels.
All of us in our own little ways, I think that we do. Okay. Kerry, can I just ask, is there somebody that is close to you that I want to say has got either some sort of a disability or illness? Because I keep feeling that you are feeling really responsible, actually, like really responsible for. You've always been that sort of go-to person. You've always been that person, and you struggle to say no. Okay, now I'm not saying say no to all of your family. All right, there's times that you should, and there's times that you shouldn't, but this is saying that I just feel like it's somebody that is taking a lot of your time. And is there somebody, a younger person with some sort of mental health problem or ADHD or that sort of thing? Because it's like, I just feel like you're trying your best. But, your daughter. Okay, Kerry. You're trying your best. It's almost like you're trying every avenue, if you like, for her health. But you're feeling like you're hitting a brick wall there. Okay. I just want to say, I'm just going to take a card, actually. I do feel like you've literally had to fight in people's corners, making sure that, you do that, but you're doing it in more of a business-like way rather than an emotional way, because at the moment, it feels like you're eating, sleeping, drinking other people's emotions. And it's just being very aware of that at this time, seeing something like almost like business. So if you had to get hold of somebody to do with like her mental health, for example, or her health generally, it's making sure that you don't take no for an answer, but at the same time, like, don't bring too much emotion into it, or else it's gonna send you bonkers. Okay, I've just had a card fall out. Let's have a look at that. Okay, we've got rejoice and celebration there. So there is going to be, let's say, some successes in this. There very much could be some success with regard to, and I'm not taking away conventional medicines, but looking at her diet for one thing, taking out potatoes, taking out anything that's too carby. Okay, so having a healthy balanced diet, but anything that's sugars or carbs, I want to say try and stay away from with her. I know it's hard when they're young, but please do try. But I want to say go down like some sort of maybe holistic route, possibly healing, possibly homeopathy, might just get a good result there as well. Anything you want to add, Jane?
I just got a card for her called, it's forgiveness. I'm using my spirit message deck at the moment. And that straight away told me, one, I've got spinach, random. I do get random things, Kerry. I'm going to apologise now. But it also did make me think healthy eating. You need to look at food options, which we know that it is hard with youngsters. And I'm just as bad because I know what I should and shouldn't eat. But the forgiveness also was telling me you need to forgive yourself a bit here. I feel that you're blaming yourself for that, some of this as well as trying to spread yourself around. I feel that you're blaming yourself. It's like you feel some kind of guilt that you have to do things for people, certain people, not everybody, but I feel there's some element of guilt. It's like it's not there, but you're feeling that you are guilty, and you've got to stop that. So forgiveness is about yourself, and it just was having a strong feeling that you need to remember that and not blame yourself for things. And also, without being, I'm trying to be delicate here, I feel that you're doing a lot of this on your own. You're not getting much support from her father. So yeah, I'm going to leave it there because I don't like to be too personal. She's a very fussy eater and has a limited diet at the minute. Yeah, I can imagine. But I'm getting lots of green. I want to say, even if you have to liquidize it into some kind of smoothie or blender, or hide it. I used to hide veg in my kids' food. I was naughty. But I totally get where you come from. And when I said I could relate to your comment, I've got so much going on in my life. It's ridiculous. I'm always on a roller coaster. My eldest child has probably got ADHD, and he's an adult child, as I put him. And it is so frustrating to watch and so upsetting to watch at the same time. And just, yeah, I always feel that I should have done more when he was younger. So I do get where you are, but stick at it and make sure you get the help you get.
Absolutely, Kerry. I hope that helps. Ooh, let's have some comment.
Go on, hit us with it, Mr. P. Not physically. Glad we're not in the studio no more.
Christina.
So Christina's a lady with fibromyalgia, Polly.
Okay. Chris, people don't get it, too judgmental, or when they say just stop stressing, it's just stress. Do you know, it might be, to be fair. I mean, I'm not going to lie, because when I've talked up to my people upstairs and other things, I do think a lot of actual physical things. Polly, you're fit, not skinny.
Behave yourself, Keith.
Put me right off, Keith. Right. Just for example, what was I even saying?
You took so she was talking to the people upstairs.
People upstairs. Right. Okay.
And no, she don't live in a flat.
Just like the Everlodgers. No joke. No, there's a lot of things, and I think to a degree, things like fibromyalgia as well can be made a lot worse by stress. I don't know, because I'm not any sort of scientist, if it is all just something that you're going to get one day, because sometimes some things are in your DNA, and that's that. But a lot of health problems are physical problems. I do, and I expect a lot of people that are on their spiritual holistic journey believe as well that stress accounts for a lot. All right. And yes, okay, it's easy for someone to say stop stressing, but if you think back to when, well, I was born in 1970, do your math, right? But I was born in 1970, and in 1970 there was a lot more mums at home looking after their own children than there was at work, right? Wasn't there? You know that, don't you?
I don't know. I was born in the 60s. They were all out doing hippie parties with Daisy around then. So I don't know.
Well, I on that, but I missed that one. Anyway, but
I was wearing gypsy skirts and like all that lovely stuff when I was in my 70s.
I was probably wearing my brother's hand-me-downs, which is a bit more disturbing. Anyway, but yeah, lots of stress can relate to actual physical illness. However, you know, like I said, you know, when we were young, my mum did go to work in the end, but she didn't when we were very young. She childminded, and so she worked, but not yet, Tim, not yet. It's not my birthday yet. But yeah, we didn't have like a childminder look after us. My mum was a childminder, and before that she was a teacher, and after that she was a teacher. So we were always up into the first sort of 5-6 years or school life. We were looked after by my own mum, and so was lots of other people. And things weren't as expensive. I mean, you think about a telly, you know, you rented your telly off Radio Rentals. You know, now people have got all these big things.
Hang on, my telly was black and white.
Yeah. And I think the stress levels have gone massive. Plus, you think about how much less processed food there was in the 1960s and 70s.
Definitely.
And now we're all eating a load of rubbish. And not all of us. I can't eat half of it. But yeah, there's so
it's
much
convenient. We're eating convenient food because we're so rushed in our lives. Yes, no, I agree, Richard. But I mean, Christine has just said as well, which I was going to actually comment on afterwards, but she's put it up now. She said she finds a lot of spiritual people also are open to anxiety and fibromyalgia. I am quite shocked at how many spiritual people I know in person in Portsmouth, or I know from working on this show, that also suffer with that condition or similar conditions, and they work spiritually. So, and you are right, Polly, I do agree, stress definitely makes it worse, which is why you've got to manage all these sort of conditions and to your ability, not because somebody else. I trained as a holistic therapist because I got diagnosed with fibromyalgia. So I thought, okay, not really happy with all these drugs they're pumping me and all these pain clinics and psychotherapists they're sending me to because I'm, you know, apparently can't cope. I'm going to find my own alternative. And that's what I did. And I've trained in holistic therapy. So I do reflexology. I do obviously aromatherapy. I've done naturopathy. So I've got a diploma in naturopathy. And obviously I learned how to blend my own oils. So it is right. You are right. Stress will make it worse. Diet makes it worse. Lifestyles will make it worse. So we've got to try and manage it to the best of our individual person. But that's not always the case for some people because they haven't got the knowledge or they haven't got the time or the patience, so I'm going to be truthful, to retrain or learn how to do that. And some people need a helping hand. So, but I do agree with Christina. A lot of spiritual people would have something going on in their background.
Did we give Christina?
Probably one of the reasons. We did, but I tell you, we did give Christina a reading. But did Keith add a comment I caught earlier as well?
Who?
Not the cheeky one.
No, I quite like that one.
Not Tim's 52, Keith. No, it was before that. He'd mentioned suicidal thoughts. That might have been on that level. It was the only reason I wanted to go back to that one is because Keith said that he gives readings, but he often has suicidal. Forgive me, Keith, if I'm saying this wrong, because Richard's trying to find it. But he said about suicidal thoughts. And being a reader, I've suffered for a long time with suicidal thoughts. I'm blessed to say I'm in recovery of these thoughts for 2 years now. Putting on a wonderful face, people will still drain you. So I thought that was quite relevant, especially after we did the NHS one. And because also I've openly admitted in one of my own shows that I had a suicidal thought at my lowest point. And I think people need to be aware of that as well. Not just because I was feeling suicidal and I've got a suicidal tendency, because things had hit me so much constantly that when I broke my leg, I just thought, I can't do this no more. And when people were being quite unkind to me, people that I thought cared about my other conditions, it just took me to a place where I thought, I can't do this no more. So Keith is right there as well. People underestimate. We're putting brave faces on. And I've said this before. We come on here, we do these shows, and everyone thinks, look at us, happy-go-lucky people.
But
we are. But we all have our moments as well. We are not perfect, and we do struggle as well. And obviously, when we do what we do, that's a lot to contend with. When I trained to be a conventional counsellor, you had a supervisor every 6 months that would talk to you and get your cases off your chest and say, how are you getting on? Well, because you were dealing with so many people's problems. We are counsellors. I mean, I'm a psychic counsellor, but we are people that care for people and help people. Who is helping us? It's a lot,
you
isn't it,
help
sometimes?
me, but
I help you. You help me.
And it is like that when you've got good friends. I've just picked card. I was going to say I've just picked card with Keith. Shit, sugar. Why the swore? Sorry, I didn't mean to. Right,
sucker, Mr. P.
I just actually nearly pulled my earphones out and nearly pulled the iPad off the holder. Right, now we have got for Keith power, and we have initiation. I think that says. Okay, now Keith. Right, a bit different than it's a bit different than just your average Joe sort of card here. I want to say, have you been having let's say guides coming in, Keith? I do feel with you like that, and also that there's something about trance-like states with you, Keith, as well. Now it just feels like you are going to be doing something a little bit more in depth, or going on some sort of course that is going to help you, let's say, connect in a different way. Even if you already do this, I feel like somebody's advice or somebody's mentoring is going to help kickstart something there. All right. I don't know as well, actually, if you have had a session of, hang on, access bars or something like that. Okay, Keith, it just feels like there's something you might have tried, might not have tried, like access bars where there's points on the head. I just feel like you're going to have some sort of therapy or something, and it's going to advance things. Don't be surprised when this new guide comes in for you. All right, it's going to be quite powerful for you. You're going to have to get used to it as well, because it's going to help you with your next part of your journey. Right, Keith, being homeless and no money, no life expectancy, and back pain along with hernia, guys, hanging out. It has been a long period to get through. Sorry, I was a bit lost with the.
I don't know if his hernia is not hanging right out, but I'm getting it's bulging out. Maybe, I don't know. And the people he's hung, maybe he's on about when he was homeless, guys. That I said I think we talked to Keith when he came on last time, because Keith, I want to say, if you sorted your tooth out, because I'm not happy if you haven't.
Oh
yes, because that's what I'm getting still. But that's a lot. That's a lot to contend with. That is a lot to contend with, and that's what I mean. People don't realise what the lives of readers, mediums, healers, anyone on these shows, people don't realise the lives we've had and why we're here. Why we're now here doing what we do. Because Stacey Shaw just put a comment up saying that she feels that doing her work helps her with her struggles.
Mm-hmm.
So she understanding other people helps her to deal with hers. See, I agree with that, but I'm a little bit round the other way. I feel that what I've been through from probably about the age of 13 onwards, life has been like a massive roller coaster for me. Because of the things I've been through, and they always seem to come clumped together and then have a little period and then they come back at me. That's why I can do what I can do, because actually it's my experience and the things that I've been through helps me understand others that sit in front of me or even on these shows, because we always hear stories that really do resonate with me, like Kerry's earlier on. I totally get where Kerry's coming from. So,
But I totally get where Stacey's coming from, because Stacey, I know that I don't know if you do readings on a regular basis. I'm not quite sure. Does Stacey do that?
More mediumship, I think she's doing, isn't she?
Mediumship or that sort of thing. Have you ever noticed, Stace, or anybody else out there, and Jane, obviously, that sometimes you can be having your own problem that you're mulling over, you know, and I know as same as Jane will prepare before we do any sort of readings, or I prepare before I come on this show. So it's prepared.
Well, I tried.
And
long story,
I was going to say something then that was another swear word, so I won't say it.
What is wrong with you?
I don't know. I don't know. Anyway.
Potty mouth. Go and talk to your upstairs people now.
Well, it rhymes with mucket. But anyway, what I was going to say is I like to put something in the mucket bucket before I come into my shed. Anyway, I do. It's all there. So
yeah, it did, didn't it?
Stace,
I can see Omnibus coming at us.
You know when sometimes, sorry, Mr. P's having a laugh in the background. And when sometimes you're giving some advice to somebody and you're going through that same situation and you seem to be bombarded with the same sort of clients until that you're suddenly thinking, oh, actually, these clients are being led to me so I can listen to my own advice. And it is, I don't know if you had the same, Stace, honestly, it's like, but then you've gone through maybe part of it that you're actually able to help them with, if that makes sense. So it's your experience, and sometimes their experience is that the people upstairs are saying, right, okay, you're not listening to our advice, so I'm going to send you every single person with that same problem until you turn.
Yes. So sometimes you actually think, someone having a laugh with me, because it's like client after client after client's got the same problem. But it's funny, I read for someone, I know we're going off track a little bit, but I read for somebody once that literally at one point I thought she had been married to my ex-husband.
Really?
I thought we were living in either a parallel universe, or she's been married to my ex-husband, because everything that I was saying and doing was like literally in my head. I was thinking, this is a little bit weird. And after the reading, she said to me, that was such a powerful reading. You literally hit every nail on the head. And I went, well, I'm going to be honest with you. At one point, I had to sit back and wonder whether you had been married to my husband the same time as me. It was that surreal. But yeah, it was mental. It was. But they do, I think you're right. When we're doing readings, sometimes we're being reminded. I know when we've all been together, when we've done the mediumships and I've been in the audience, the stuff that I pick up while you lot are all up there is really bizarre and weird.
No, you don't.
You tune in. Oh yeah, because I'm not a medium, people, obviously, and I don't trance either, in case anyone wants to ask. But yeah, I just know it's weird when we get together with that energy. I mean, sometimes I'm picking out someone in the audience before you even start on them. The information I've even been given from you guys is weird, because I almost feel like that person had tuned in to me, my relative, and then one of you have actually brought them out for me. That energy does build up. So obviously we're going to get the same with our clients. If we're not listening to our guides and doing what we should be doing, they'll just keep sending people our way until we pay attention.
Absolutely. So, I just feel like, actually, I'm not going to pull a card. Oh, God, the cat's just jumped on me. Bear with me. I'm not going to pull your cards, Stace, cat. Pussy cat. It's a little bear. Stace, I think actually everything's started to work itself out for you at the moment. I've just got this really actually quite positive feeling around you, Stace. It's like there's been a lot of stuff going on over the last sort of year that feels like I'm tying up loose ends. And I want to say that things like you've had to be on top of, especially things with kids and worried about things and health, it's almost like you're sort of almost at the end of that bit of tricky times. Just keep going with it, Stacey. You'll get it all sorted out. Even I would say friends that you didn't think you would. There were some friends that sort of disappeared for a bit and are coming back into your life as well, Stace. And it's good. All right. It just feels different this time. So just know that to give them a chance. I don't know why I'm saying that.
Yeah.
But just understand that. Okay. So do you want to read Angels?
Angel is saying, I've had lots of moments of anxiety and put on a brave face, so to speak, to try to get through the day. It's okay until things get too much. And that's, I think, what we were saying, where all hidden disabilities, that's why they're called hidden, because they're either physically not seen, or no one can go right into your brain. Well, some of us can, I suppose, but
You can.
people,
Scares
yeah, I
me.
can. I can, scary people, but that's where we shouldn't, like Keith was saying earlier, we shouldn't put on a brave face. We should be open and honest. I think the first day I admitted, I think it was on the Monday brunch actually, admitted about my mental well-being. It was quite an intense show, if I remember rightly, with others, where I opened up and said how I'd been affected, and other people started opening up. So we shouldn't put on a brave face. We should open up and say what's going on. And if we are trying to do that to get through our work day, our family days, or just our general day, then we've got to either seek help or try and acknowledge that ourselves and find ways of dealing with it, because it will only, like Polly said in the end, turn into a stress-related illness that will affect you physically in the end anyway, and it just, everything will spiral out of control, and you need to understand what you're dealing with and actually be able to cope and deal with it. We shouldn't, this is 2022, people. We shouldn't be hiding behind, like us as witches, as we're called. We shouldn't be hiding behind closed doors. We shouldn't be darkening our rooms when we're doing anything like that we do. And we certainly shouldn't be shying away from people, especially our good friends and family, when we need help. We've got to learn to talk to people and say it and get it off our chest. Because when you say it, and when you deal with it, it makes it just feel like you've taken a step back towards the right side. So bear that in mind, Angel. So Katie Hollis, welcome, because I don't think we've seen your name come up, Katie. So thank you for joining us today. She's saying, I can relate to this as well, as I'm a psychic medium, but I feel with what I've been through in my life can really help others with what they're going through as well. And yeah, that's, I think, what we've just said with Stace, isn't it? We've all agreed we wouldn't be doing this job if we weren't helping others, and we wouldn't be doing this job if we didn't have the knowledge to do it. Polly, I will say, I love your new cards. I think she's copying us, Mr. P.
Copying you?
It's the psychic deck I use on my show.
Oh, is it?
You keep putting them up and going, and they look familiar. Polly's got new cards, everybody.
I've got 3 packs. One I'm not sure about yet. Just quickly, I've got a card for... I had a card for Angel, and I'm just going to go quickly. Angel, that card there, the throat chakra, says it all. You're doing so well, and it's almost like confidence with you. All right, just don't ever doubt yourself, even if no one has a clue what you're talking about at the time. Just do not doubt yourself. All right, just be really confident with the way things are and the way you're delivering things. It feels like, actually, if you look back on yourself 2 years ago, you're in a totally different place, which is really, really nice. So yeah, it was very short and sweet, but that was for you. And I just picked one for the other lady who said she was a psychic medium. I'm on one at the moment, Katie. Sorry, it was because of my...
I'm just going to sit back, let her get on with it.
It was because of my, what's it called? What did I eat? Hash browns this morning. Katie Louise Hollis. Right, we have got movement, choices and decisions there. And we have got financial and magical changes there. Now, I know you said you're a medium, but I do feel like there might be a little bit of an offer coming up for you, my lovely. And this isn't necessarily, because if you look at those cards there's all these different doors there. Okay, now I do feel like there's going to be a couple of choices coming up with you, Katie, but one might sound all like glittery and but then the other one that's a little bit more grounded and sensible actually is going to be the one that is more longer term. I don't want to say don't do one or the other. What I want to say is, if you dip your toe in one and you just think, okay, yeah, it might be a one-off or whatever, that's great. There's another door opening which seems more long-term or has more longevity there. I want to say it's very much around healing. So it might be healing with your words. It could be healing in other ways, but there's definitely something coming. And when I say watch out for it, just make sure that you're open-minded. Just because something glitters doesn't mean it's gold. Why am I saying all these weird quotes today?
I don't know, because you've ate hash browns.
Hash browns have made me high.
Maybe it's because it's a weird day. I was telling Polly earlier, I tried 6 different types of meditations today. I couldn't get into the swing of it. And then she went and ate hash browns. So something's messing around with her.
I tell you what, next time I need a bit of energy, I'm gonna large it with some hash browns. Just not eat them for ages. And if I need some like power or what's the word? If I need like superpowers, then I'm just going to eat a hash brown or 2.5, and then my life will be different.
Yeah. All right then.
Brain voice.
Go on.
I worry about my young relative with anxiety as she's just beginning to understand why it's harder for her to process life's ups and downs than others her age. Is she around 7? Bren? I just keep seeing the age of 7. I do feel like that your young relative is also extremely sensitive. All right. Now, I want to, if anything at the moment, a good thing if they're not already into it is crystals. I do feel like you need to take this child into some sort of crystal shop, or look for like especially made, you know, lots of people make especially made little like bracelets and necklaces and things like that with like calming crystals and things like that. I do feel like she probably will end up liking crystals or wanting to work with crystals or having them in her bedroom all over the place. So I would say just understand that, because in fact I would say read up about crystal children, Bren, because she'll understand it. All right, she'll understand it. Right, I want to say look back to the age of 7, all right, because this is when you'll have seen some, or the parents will have seen some changes around them, but definitely the age of 7 is relevant there. Crystals seems really, really important with her. Okay, so wearing crystals, maybe getting involved with crystals, reading up about crystals, or having some crystal healing. I just keep saying crystals, and read up about crystal children. Doesn't matter if she's 21.
It's weird because I got fairy. I mean, I know she's saying she's 21, but I got a 7-year-old around, and where we were saying about coincidences and how things can be thrown at us and to remind us, it was taking me to my 7-year-old granddaughter and crystals, but I'm getting fairies around this person as well. So not that they're seeing fairies, but there is some relevance to fairies, whether she's got something hanging down in her house. So I think you're right. Go back to when she was 7. Sometimes, and I had this done myself, people when they're young, they're so in tune to what's going on spiritually, but when it's taken away or shunted down or shut down, it's harder. You know, they can try and shut that down. Back in our day, we just got on with it, but I think now the youngsters need to be more open to things, and I'm just feeling that the fairies are very. I'm getting fairies and goblins. What's that all about? Even though that's the Lord of the Rings.
That's a very elemental energy then, because anything to do with pixies, fairies and goblins and everything like that, it's all like a very like elemental energy. You do to find that people with a real elemental energy like I have, okay, I feel like a pixie sometimes. I feel like a bit of a naughty pixie, but it's just one of those, it's very innocent. It's causing her anxieties. Do work with crystals, get some crystal healing.
Yeah, definitely. And actually go and learn about different things. I keep getting the words the fates and fairies. I don't know what's going on here. I feel like either she needs to go back or someone needs to go back. There's something that was around that early stage. She needs to be open to what's going on, not because again, I'm a great believer. A lot of mental well-being, and I've said it before, dimension that I still think is in tune with the spiritual side, the connection to the spiritual world. And I just think it's learning how to deal with it and, trying to cope with that and opening up to it. So I just think she needs some support that way.
Yeah.
But I'm getting fairies, goblins, fate, and you're getting crystals.
And grounding crystals with her as well. Some like dark coloured crystals, like obsidian, things like that. That sort of thing.
And also, 21 isn't old. My youngest is just about turned 21 this year. What about a worry doll? I know that sounds strange, but it's not. A worry doll isn't like a doll, is it? It's like something that you can hold on to, keep in your room, keep in your car. I keep some strange things in my car. Yeah.
I think that doesn't surprise me in absolute slightest, Jane. God knows what she keeps in her car dashboard.
It's actually like a little voodoo doll, but I don't think we're going to. I haven't got pins in it. There's no pins in it, but it is like a voodoo doll. But yeah, I just think there's no age. Like Richard just said, any doll. I don't think.
Blow up doll. If it's a blow up doll.
You're so lucky, people, that you can't hear him. We have to listen to him in our ear. But and I'm watching my dog. Sorry if I'm looking away from the camera. My dog's acting very strange. See, there's something weird going on today. Dog's looking at me like I'm a weirdo. The thing is,
if you stuck your pins in a blow up doll, it just would die.
Yeah, I don't know I don't know. That was what Richard was preferring to. But moving on, people. But no, I think worry doll in a just a gifty sort of way. I'm gonna move on because it started already. I always have to act like the grown up with you two. Do you know that? Seriously.
I've got a test today, so I can't even laugh. Helios, I suffer from dyslexia. So do I. I tend to get away with things now that as I use that when I don't get what people say. Lol. Yeah, you know what? It is hard work. Are you dyslexic, Jane?
I didn't think I was, and I'm going to say probably wasn't, because I was quite academic in school and didn't really struggle. I was just rebellious, so I had a different form of discipline going on. But fibromyalgia massively affects. I mean, Richard always takes the mick out of me on my show because I get really in depth and then I can't get my words out. It affects my speech, so one words can come out different, and I can't pronounce words. Where before English was one of my best subjects, but I now can't pronounce the most basic of words. But I've got number dyslexia now, and yet I've worked with finance most of my career, working life.
That's called dyscalculia.
But I literally get my numbers around the wrong way.
I have it as well.
If only I could do it in my bank account.
Helios. I totally get it, Helios. It is hard work, and I mean I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. Mate, there's some of the faux pas I have made from like writing something, not spelling it properly, and then not checking what spell check has changed it to, because obviously it doesn't have a clue what I'm talking about. And somebody once sent me a message and said, am I a hypnotherapist because their husband needs to give up smoking? And I said, no, I'm not a hypnotherapist, but I know a few. Would you like their numbers? And they said, oh, yeah, that would be great. And so then I thought, I sort of know this person. So I haven't even asked them how they are, you know. So I said, here's the numbers. And I meant to write, hope you are well. And instead, I don't know what I wrote, but it turned out, I hope you are wet. And then I sent it, right? and it was a guy, right? And you know when you're like, I didn't realise till about an hour and a half later, obviously, and read it back to see if he'd replied. And I was mortified. I don't even get embarrassed. Nothing really embarrasses me. You know when you like cringe. I've just asked him if he's wet. And then like it was like that horror moment, like I don't ever want to see that person again in my life. It was awful. But yeah, I do it all the time, and that was one of the worst ones.
Have we got any more questions, Mr. P, before we get this show going down the wrong route before Watershed? Kate says, I think COVID has had a huge impact on anxiety and stress for sure. Yeah, I mean, I went shopping this morning with my daughter. She suffers a little bit of anxiety in the weirdest situations, which I find strange. And in things that I think she would have, she doesn't. It's weird, especially when it's your own children. You're watching thinking, how's this happened? Yeah. But I actually bumped into a woman, and we were talking. We haven't seen each other for years, and she was talking about COVID and how it's affected her. She's still working from home, and she doesn't want to go out, and to even go to the shop like she did today is such a hard thing to do. And she's a little bit younger than me, so I mean, I'm heading nearer to 60 these days, but I don't see myself as old because my mindset's still childish. But she's younger than me, and that's had that effect on her. And COVID, it's affected people in so many different ways, and what it's done to their lifestyle and their well-being is horrendous. And obviously I see that when I'm working at the local hospital, what it has done to people. And even on the addiction side, loads of people locked themselves up, didn't they, and took to the bottle. or they took to eating more. I certainly ate more because I was baking more. I was baking cakes all the time and just doing things. That, you know, lots of people did do positive things, but lots more people, if everyone was honest, did a lot less positive things, and it hasn't helped them. And obviously, it's like anything. If you put on weight or you're doing something that you know is not agreeing with you, that then affects your anxiety, that then affects your stress, and then that inevitably brings depression or a lack of confidence because you don't want to go out because you know you don't feel the same about yourself, and then you think everyone else is judging you. But that's what anxiety does. But people aren't judging you. They shouldn't be judging you, is what I say. And actually, I'm not going to swear because I'm good, but I use the word similar to bucket when I tell that to people. You know, we shouldn't be worried about what other people are thinking. We've got to love ourselves. But I think that's what COVID's done. It's taken away people's self-confidence.
Absolutely, it did.
I suffered myself, but COVID definitely made it skyrocket. Yeah, definitely. And where's the support for that?
There isn't.
No, they got support for long COVID sufferers, but where's the support for the people that have literally suffered with their mental well-being? Where is that support?
But there isn't any, because they will say that there is, and there's talk and change and this, that and the other, but then to get any real help, you're on a waiting list forever. And it's shocking. I mean, and people can't afford necessarily to go to a therapist or go to like a psychotherapist, like a private one, for example. It's a lot of money, you know, but then you know, it's not more than one session either, you know. And it's
sorry, like, talk and change is on the phone if you're lucky.
But you know, it is sad, and it's frustrating. I'm luckily the sort of person that, even though this may be spout of everything that felt very anxious to me, lasted longer than anything that I've ever had, and it did. I know now, looking back, what sparked it all off. But at the same time, I've now having to make baby steps of just improving my life again. But I know that I'm strong enough to do that. I also know that I've got people around me, like yourself, Jane, and Sarah, and Sam, and Richard, and lots of other people. I'm obviously partners, etc. I know that I can talk to them if I need to talk to them, but I will talk to them when I'm feeling ready and like, okay, can you help me with this? Can you just look into the cards for this? And I know that it'll be I'd help you and you help me any point, that sort of thing. But not everybody's got that sort of, I don't know, you know, I mean, I might say, oh, Jane, I really need some healing. Do you want to do a swap? But somebody else that doesn't do healing, they can't swap.
No.
It's hard. It is really hard.
No, it is. And again, and I think that's why that Hidden Disabilities program, when I watched it, highlighted why I wanted to do this, because it also highlighted that people suffering with autism and ADHD. I mean, I think it was Jenny, I can't remember. Forgive me if I forgot your name. The lady that was talking about a daughter with the ADHD.
Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah.
And trying to get her diagnosed. My son is 33, and they've said it's probably ADHD along with something else. He's got to wait 5 years. 5 years to be assessed. He'll be nearly 40.
But without a doubt,
how can that help?
Without a doubt, I know that I have.
But because of what he's been through and what he's also got going on, he needs that now. And like you said, unless you pay privately, you can't have it. And it is the same with lots. I mean, anyone that's had COVID, anyone that's had long-term COVID, I know people that have had it. I am no way dismissing it. What frustrates me is it is actually the same symptoms as fibromyalgia. And do you know how long in this country people that suffer with that have had to fight to get recognised by their GPs, by healthcare professionals, by the DWP? It is wrong. And yet COVID's come along, long-term COVID. Oh, let's sort them out. Well, hang on a minute. What about us people with all these autoimmune diseases, which is where fibro sits? What about, you know, I mean, I've got family members that have had rheumatoid arthritis in their early 20s, Raynaud's disease, MS. You know, these are members younger than me. Where's been the support? Because MS wasn't recognised years ago. That's if you actually look that up, you'll find that's not actually been it wasn't a recognised illness for some time. To be honest, I think it's when the MRI scans became more unique that they were picking it up. It's something to do with the thickening on the back of spine somewhere or some white fluid, I can't remember, but that's when it started getting recognised. Yeah, so there's lots of things with illnesses that are disabilities that have been totally ignored, or people are hiding because no one's acknowledging it. But this program showed that you can go into your shops and walk around, like you see a dog, a guide dog, and you assume it's for someone that's blind. They actually now have pets that assist people with autism or any kind of anxiety where they can't go out on their own. And this pet, and some can be cats, which I found quite fascinating, that help them feel confident to go out into the public and be able to do daily things like shop or just go out. And yet people are still being turned away in organisations because they've got this animal with them and they're wearing a high-vis jacket saying they are. Yeah, so it is, it's worrying.
It is.
Very worrying. Okie doke. So we are now going to adverts, people.
See you in 2.
Are you planning a paid spiritual event, or looking for something to do this weekend? Then visit myspiritualevents.com. You can browse the listing, view the event details, watch a YouTube clip, look at a mini gallery, select dates and times, pay for tickets using PayPal or your debit card. Organizers can register for free and start selling tickets within minutes, be it for their online or in-person spiritual event. As an organizer, you will have access to your own admin dashboard, which will display information such as your income and your bookings, all in a simple and user-friendly display. It's free to use. Join and upgrade to an organizer. Come and visit us at myspiritualevents.com.
Tomorrow from 11 a.m., Alison and Dawn hosts their morning show with live readings, chat, special guests, and the latest news from sptv. Matt and Kirsty host their show tomorrow from 8 p.m. The show consists of answering your spiritual questions and offering free mediumship and oracle card readings.
We're back. Hello. Right, Helios, I need to go back to you. I didn't see this one. I failed my fitness exam many moons ago due to not understanding what they were going on about, and my teaching was spot on. It was afterwards when they sit you down and ask you questions, and I apparently answered to something else. I totally get it. Honestly, Helios, I'm the same, right? I have anxiety about anything to do with paperwork or reading, as in if it's official, because I will get somebody that can actually read properly to look over it for me. Since lockdown, I've suffered from anxiety, which is not me. They're always doctors put you on pills. I've decided to stop taking them. Do it safely, Helios. But I did actually pull you a card, but because we were talking, it sort of stayed here, and I just wanted to give you this. Now, we've got disruption there, okay? And if you look at the pictures, this person is literally sort of seemed to be separate or segregated. And then partnerships and alliances. Now, at the moment, Helios, I think that you're doing a lot of what you do on your own. All right. I know that you come on here. I don't know you personally, but I see your posts, etc. But I think you're doing a lot on your own. And there seems to be, like, say, a bit of trust issues and sort of things going on with you. And I know, but the way I'm seeing it, I understand why. That sometimes you can segregate yourself or only keep very, very, very close people close. Now, the other card was partnerships there and alliances. Now, what I want to say, it's not getting into an alliance with somebody to sort of, have a big old ding dong. However, it does feel like you need support in more of a spiritual way. Okay, so having somebody to maybe work with, bounce things off, or even join forces with. Now, you do not have to join forces with them all the time. It could be like I do. I'm doing a demo in a couple of weeks' time with the lovely Jane here. However, I did one with Donna Piggott not a while ago, not long ago. One with Paul Cecil the other week for charity. And I'll do that, but it doesn't mean that we're joined at the hip. Okay, it does not mean that at all. It means we do our own lives. I do our own thing. but then we come together for something. Now I want to see you out and about a bit more, or up on a stage actually, Helia. So I want to say any offer that comes in where you're like maybe doing some platform mediumship or something on a platform is going to be really good for you. It might just be a little bit daunting at the time, but actually don't worry about it. You'll be fine once you've done it. Okay, just don't put your glasses on. That's what I do. But this is saying that I just need to put you back together again, Helios. All right, energetically you've got so much to give. You're so talented. However, it's like, just do trust people. Okay, trust certain people, let certain people into your lives, even if it's just to do workshops with or something like that, because it's going to be really good for you, Helios, and then it sort of gives you sort of that next step to doing more on your own. I hope that makes sense to you. It will.
Can I just add to that as well? When you said stage, I don't see him on a big stage, but I do see him doing something platformy in a small place, because I feel that he has been either not working with someone, admiring someone, I'm going to say, I hope that's the right word, Helios, and you're quite pleased with how they work. But I want to say to you, don't underestimate what you can do. Don't keep looking up at them. I want you to start looking across at them, because you're just as capable to do that. I'm getting a lot of blue, which is telling me you also need to be a little bit more honest and speak a little bit more out. I know you're saying about trust issues, but I want to say you need to speak out a bit more and be honest with what you're saying. And actually, if you don't agree with something with somebody, whether they're good or not, say it. Tell them, because we don't all agree with each other, even if we like each other, and we don't always have the same acknowledgement in things like that. So if someone that you're working alongside or going to, see in a spiritual way, admire them to a level, but also remember you're just as good and just as worthy to have an opinion. So I just want you to speak out a bit more.
You're your own person. It's like when I work with all these other people. I've worked with the different people on SPTV. However, we're totally different, but that's what makes it good. I used to do mediumship for years, but I love angelic Reiki healing more now. I do tend to speak my mind, lol.
Yeah, maybe, but there is somebody you're not doing it to, I want to say, because I'm also getting told mending bridges is someone you need to mend some situation with.
Yeah, you'll be good.
So, yeah. Okay. Hello from Scotland, Elaine. You can pronounce that?
Aprilia. Hi from Australia.
What we got? Valerie Corbett. I've been trying for weeks to pick myself up as I lost 2 people very close to me on this day. Oh.
Lots of love to you, Valerie.
Yeah, Valerie. That's hard to lose someone that, 2 people as well. Yeah. I mean, I think grief sits as well, doesn't it? Grief and bereavement, and it affects people in lots of ways. Polly went a little bit freezy then. Are you picking anything up, Polly?
I don't know if this is what
you looked,
but I'm picking up a lady who was quite disabled at the end of her life. So when I say disabled at the end of her life, she's in a bed. Okay. Now, please. It's not the strongest link I've ever had, but she's here. She wasn't necessarily, let's say, a great believer in the spiritual when she comes in. She seems like quite a traditional lady, but she's just feels really poorly before she left the earth plane. There, I keep seeing her in a nightie, in a bed. All right, it feels like she should have been in like a hospital bed, because I'm seeing that sort of bed. Okay, that she's sort of, or like one in a hospital, because it's like I'm seeing a rail coming up and she's like trying to stop her falling out, and she feels very like bent over before she went as well. And she's very much around you, Valerie. I hope you can take this lady. Lost a lot of weight, bless her, and she's just saying here that she's just looked like a bag of bones in the end. All right, now she's absolutely, thing is, she was quite a tough cookie when she in her earlier days. Quite a tough cookie, and she keeps showing me I don't know if it's a dresser or what you call them, but it's like I feel like I've got plates, like decorative plates in there. Okay, but they're not necessarily ones that you would use to eat from. Okay, please do tell us if this makes sense. She's a tough nut, like I said, to crack. It's your auntie. She's very, very talented in organisation and sorting things out, and just a good person to give advice, really. Bless her.
Can I just add, I'm getting the smell of suet pudding.
Yeah.
So I don't know if she would. When you said about the dresser, I do feel that kitchen was one of her favourite places, and I'm getting like that old-fashioned, is it beef suet, where people used to make suet pudding?
Oh yeah, like
quite old-fashioned.
Yeah.
So, and also, are you lighting candles in your house, or you've been going somewhere to light a candle? Because I'm getting shown someone lighting a candle, but I don't feel it's for her. This is for somebody else. But I feel that there's a candle lit, or you're lighting them in your house because they seem to make you feel, I don't know, connected. But Polly's right. Someone is around you all the time, because I'm getting that sense that you're struggling with something, not just these
there's also
anniversaries
coming in. I keep hearing the name, seeing the letter J, so I want to say a John or a Jack coming in with you as well, Valerie. That's there as well. He's quite he likes things just his way. Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So the plates were hit father-in-law John.
It's like I keep seeing things just right. Okay, so the position's right, everything's in a row.
And she was a cook, Polly.
She was a cook. Fabulous. But you're not a medium, Jane.
No.
Yes, I like one every night, said Valerie.
But I'm not a medium, Valerie. Can I just say, Miss Producer's just passed out. Just be mindful. There is someone around you that is very, very strong, despite the fact that she's obviously may not agree with all this. Then there is someone around you very, very strong, and I'm being told that you are going through something at the moment, despite grief, and they're there trying to guide you through it. So can you pay attention when you're lighting that candle? There's something going on.
And sorry, this auntie has just told me this is a bit personal, and I don't think it's about you necessarily. Please don't answer it, okay? Please don't answer it, Valerie. But somebody's having a problem with a prolapsed bladder. You don't have to say anything, Valerie, but somebody is around you, okay? And they need to get it sorted out.
That could be me. It could well be me. But yeah, I just feel she's around. Got a lot of purple around this woman as well. I've got a feeling that's flowers. What's that Parma violet smell I'm getting?
Violet?
Violet? No, there used to be an old-fashioned scent, like Parma violets, like the sweets. You know the Parma violet sweets? That smell. Yeah, no, I'm just getting that around her. But if she was a cook, she may well have, I don't know. Because I'm getting the smell of crumble now as well. So I might want, I'm going to get hungry. I love a crumble.
We like it.
Valerie, no, I'd make my own Mr. P. I wouldn't go buying it. I'd make it. I know, but no one eats it in my house. Just me. Can't eat a whole crumble to myself. But Valerie, thank you, because you have taken most of that, I think. So it's my mother-in-law. Is that the smell of violets? The Parma violets? Is that what she's saying? Because that was her aunt won it, and then her father-in-law. So, well, that's a lot of people. So I hope that pleases, makes you feel comfortable there, Valerie, that you've got that many people around you watching over you. But oh, okay. Do you want us to add that in? So when you had the adverts, people, we forgot to mention that on the brunch tomorrow, there is a special guest that's going to be talking about trauma in young people. And she will be offering some course. Is it a course, a one-off course, for free? So if anyone is interested in that, about trauma in a young age, please do tune in to the brunch tomorrow at 11 o'clock and meet this person and maybe be able to sign up and do some coursework with her. And the course is free, remember, that's free, like we all are free. So yeah, please do that if you need some help or additional support. That's what we're here for. So, have we got anyone else? That's it.
So, we've come to the end of Oh, let's have one more comment then.
Valerie's just said, thank you very much. He always feels there's a few people there.
Terry Louise, anxiety is horrible. No one understands what it's like until they experience it, especially panic attacks. Wouldn't wish those on anybody. Totally get that.
No.
I've had a couple of them, and they're not nice.
No.
But no, just we all know that we can. The thing is with Terry's doing a wonderful thing, and she did an extensive course on counselling. Which. So level 3, which she passed apparently, so well done, Terry. Yeah. And understanding, like we said earlier, the reason, for example, we became what we became is because of our experiences in life. And people become counsellors usually because they've had some sort of trauma in their life or experiences in their life. So we're all of us. Oh, Jeanette wants to eat a whole rhubarb crumble.
Oh, yes, my favourite rhubarb. I'm with you there, Jeanette.
But yeah, it does shape us to who we are today, which is absolutely brilliant. So I think we've come to the end of our show today. Please do tune in 2 weeks' time, where we will be back, hopefully with a lovely Sarah as well, hopefully a full house, and we will be talking about a different subject next time. So please do tune in.
Yeah, and I'll try not to get on the high horse again.
Yeah, God, she was right up on that horse. She was.
I was right up on that horse.
That wasn't no Shetland pony.
No, I was up on a stallion. But yeah, thank you everybody for joining us.
In our dreams.
Yeah, I wish. Yeah. Anyway, we will see you soon. Take care. Bye for now.
See you soon.